Alright, King, so let's go and take a look at the matchups. Let me pull up my epic pin as well, even though I'm not going to spend too much time. I will have it available if I need it. Alright, so basically what it comes down to, Rides, is you are playing Vex versus Akali. This matchup is extremely Vex favored because you are ranged into melee, and most of her kit requires her to go melee range through either flips or blinks. So you do have a way of shutting that down by utilizing your fear. In grand scheme of things, you are running Flash Ignite versus TP Ignite. So you technically have a mobility advantage, and you have the ability to gap close a little bit more consistently. Electrocute's really good in this matchup. In terms of runes, I don't really think there's a reason to take Taste of Blood into a matchup where you are not going to be taking poke damage. So Taste of Blood is considered kind of an L here, because Cheap Shot would give you extra damage, more poke potential. Understandably, she does build D shield and can absorb a lot of your poke damage, but there's really no way for you to have a kill window if you're just taking sustain runes when you're already got infinite sustain from Corrupting Potion. Eyeball Collection and Ultimate Hunter's fine, Biscuit Delivery and Time Warp Tonic is also fine, and your sub runes are also fine. So when it comes to the jungle matchup, it is a Graves versus Echo, so you kind of can assume that your Graves is going to play for an invade. So it kind of is about having priority in the mid lane, so wanting to play more aggressively and make sure that you are applying pressure is pretty much the best thing that you can do. And then once you've gotten what you want out of the lane, that's when you can start to pull the way back and start playing more for gank potential. You get some nice damage onto Ezreal. And realistically, we're just going to wait here and see what happens. But for the most part, you should already know exactly what you want to do. You've placed a ward down up here, or at least your teammate has, so you now have kind of an idea of where the enemy jungle is starting. So as long as you have this ward on Raptors, you should know realistically when you're going to get ganked by Echo, if at all. But right now, you're already playing incorrectly because you could be standing between her and the minion wave and creating pressure here. But you already have Fear auto E up, and she's walking melee range, and you are not hitting her. So when she walks up for this minion, are you looking for a trade? Yes, you are. And the reason why this trade doesn't work out for you is because you had multiple opportunities to break her bone plating before that trade happened. You could have traded even before that. But you're giving her an opportunity to do damage back to you when she never should have had that chance to begin with. So if you are properly using your positioning as a tool to zone her off, or even trading earlier when you had access to Fear or auto-e-auto, then she wouldn't be able to absorb most of your trade and then do damage back to you. Because at the end of the day, she's out pushing you right now, even though you have a winning matchup. Which means that you aren't applying pressure, and you're not going to be able to move first in a case of an invade from your Graves. So that's a pretty decent trade. You don't always have to lead with auto for Electrocute proc. You have Q there as well, so it ends up being fine. But right now, you should have popped your Corrupting Potion a little bit sooner to get some more damage tick in. Right. This is a solo kill, nice. And you know for a fact that she has no flash, right? So the moment that she used her EW like that, sorry, her WQ or whatever she took, there was no way for her to disengage without the access to flash. So you picked up on that and you ran her down the entire way, which is great. So well played on that. And at this point, she does have TP, so you kind of just want to find an opportunity to reset right now because you do have a decent amount of gold in your inventory. So going to crash this wave is really, really good if you're able to do so. So it doesn't matter what damage you do to her right now, you just need to focus on pushing the wave. So right now you're technically playing incorrectly because you're not focusing on hitting the minions, you're just trying to trade her off. And you do get a really nice cancel, but at the end of the day, like, you end up not getting CS here, and that kind of hurts your recall. Now, she technically is killing herself right here, and you are playing it well to get this kill. But realistically, it's just confusing that this even happens. Well played regardless. All he had to do was crash the wave. He didn't need to focus on trading with her. Because at the end of the day, when you do something like that, you're opening yourself up to getting ganked. So if Echo had gone mid on that timer, there's a chance that you got punished. So this is horrendously incorrect. You're already wasting a bunch of time here. You just push this wave in and you recall. Your Grave should not be invading on a timer that you're resetting on, because you have a bunch of money that you need to spend. So realistically, right here, Lost Chapter is really pretty much the worst item you can go into an Akali, in my opinion. You already have infinite wave clear with Corrupting Potion, and this gives you a bunch of wave clear. And this gives you the ability to rotate. But at the end of the day, you're playing versus a melee champion, and you are playing for side lanes, because you theoretically should not be able to poke Akali out of lane if she's playing correctly. So I probably would have opted for Sork Boots. I don't think Lost Chapter is bad by any means, but I think if you're playing for your jungler, playing for the ability to roam and move often would be better. If you're trying to stop somebody else from leaving a lane, then going Lost Chapter gives you the ability to contest wave clear. It's just not ideal here. But you are in a position of strength, so you can either transition that to your side lanes, or you can continue to play through mid lane. So this gives you a lot of combat stats. You are technically playing through mid lane. But she's walking up right now with half energy, and you're not punishing her when you have full vision of Echo topside. So you are effectively doing nothing with your advantage right now. So for the last 30 seconds where you've had vision on this Echo, you are playing respectfully around nobody on the map. So what exactly are we doing when we have full vision of the enemy, and what could we be doing to punish this Akali better in this circumstance? Yo, thank you, Kikaren and Richua. Thank you very much for the birthday wishes. Appreciate it, guys. But, like, you're massively ahead here. You have your E up pretty much 90% of the time. I understand that you're playing respectfully around maybe her shuriken flip, but you've had multiple opportunities here, and this is a really, really risky ultimate, because there's no reason why you need to coin flip it right here. Because she can't ever walk up to the wave if you hold on to that. You don't even kill her there if you get the ult in, because she can just W. So you should have just played for your EQ and then ulted off of it, or used your ult as a roaming tool. So you kind of just force it right there. That's kind of a full minute where you kind of accomplished nothing because you weren't trading effectively. You weren't paying attention to where people are on the map, and then you coin flipped at max range. So all things that you could have done differently. You are utilizing your roam pressure, like you crash the wave and then you rotate to look for stuff. So this is a good example of what you could be doing on every single wave crash. But now you're down your combat ult because you wasted it, and she technically has a window to punish you if you ever use your fear. This is fine if the jungle plans on invading. Your wave manipulation always be based on like what your jungle's trying to do on the map. So his jungler is doing dragon. He needs to make sure that mid's push so that if the enemy contests it, he can move. When it comes to zoning off the Akali, yes, if there's nothing that's happening on the map, it is better for the Vex here to freeze. But it also means that Vex is not able to roam as she freezes. So we need to think to ourselves, do we have win cons in side lanes? Yes. If you take a look here, we have a Camille, we have a Tristana, we have a Brand. So he has a 2-kill advantage. The game is literally over if he rotates to a single side lane play here. So if he crashes wave and then he just stands here, he's not doing anything with the pressure. He's just letting the Akali farm for free. Whereas if he crashes this and then roams and gets side lane kills, then it's worth it. But if you're going to crash the wave and let her farm all of these waves for free, then you're not technically accomplishing anything. Because you could realistically just hold the wave over here, zone her off the wave, she goes behind in CS, she's easily gankable. And yes, you're not able to move as many things on the map because you're not in a position to do so. But you're not taking advantage of that anyways, because you're just constantly pushing the wave and then standing there. And this is partially because you went Lost Chapter and you don't have the ability to move as quickly as you'd like to, which is why I think the Sork Boots was a better purchase there. But a big part of this is the reason why you're not comfortable doing this is because you're using a 2-minute cooldown to coin flip. So you're throwing a 50-50 ult on somebody who has multiple ways of disengaging a fight. So you're making it nearly impossible for you to do anything for 2 minutes. So it may not seem like a lot to miss the ultimate there, but you're really just denying yourself gameplay options. So right here, you don't really have any vision to work with. You don't know where Echo is or anything, but nice fear, good trade. It's just kind of what you want to do is slowly poke them down, utilizing your fear, and then eventually create a kill window. But right now, this is a Doran shield and boots Akali that you're afraid of. Like, I get it, she does have ult advantage, but your ult just came up and you were still standing all the way over here and giving her room to play this wave. Now at this point, once again, we're shoving the wave. She's not as far behind in CS as she should be when you have such a massive gold lead. Like, just think about this for a moment. Like, you're straight up 1,300 gold up in lane. So right here, just play around your fear, and if you land the fear, then you can ult off of it. But you weren't paying attention to that window. Because you definitely do have enough damage to one-shot her if you lead with fear. Yeah, Reniscore, thank you for the 5 gifted tier 1s, and welcome to the Platonic Harem. Ooh, that's a pretty unlucky ultimate right there. That probably should have landed. But this just begins to ask the question, like, what are you doing to transition your gold lead to anything effective on the map? How do we start the game with a massive gold advantage and then achieve nothing with it? Is what we need to be asking ourselves. Is it reasonable for you to be up an entire 40 AP in lane and then not utilize it in any meaningful way? It's not. You need to be thinking about how you're creating a favorable situation with the goals that you have in mind. You have a winning side lane, you have another winning side lane, you have a winning jungle matchup. But the most I've seen you do this lane is get 2 solo kills and then just perma push wave and stand there. How could he make the recall better there? The recall didn't matter. To be honest, it didn't matter at all. If he wants to recall better, he can recall on a cannon wave. Akali gets a roam timer right there, but it literally doesn't matter. But let's go back 15 seconds because I'm kind of confused how this happens. So Akali shows bottom. We know where Akali is. You are not using your skills.
My god, he's
You have QW, but you're not using it to push the wave, so this is already slow tempo. Izun, this is literally a platinum game. I don't care if he plays this perfectly. Sometimes you have to learn how to, like, pick a battle to die, a hill to die on. I'm not going to spend 15 minutes arguing about one wave when he's just playing lane incorrectly. That is definitely not something I'm interested in doing. But this is a pretty good collapse right now. So yeah, this is pretty bad because you're leading with fear and then you're missing fear. So you could have just gotten closer and then used your E or Q at melee range. At the end of the day, it is just you're missing a skill shot. But if you're going to long cast your E and then miss, it just makes it much harder for you to win the 2v2 here. And then you just get absolutely exploded. He'll get out platinum when he plays it perfectly, though. Okay, sure. He'll get out platinum when he plays it perfectly. But that's not how min-maxing works. It is better to isolate certain things that will make your overall gameplay consistent, rather than just do everything at the same time. Wave manipulation is great, but the wave manip doesn't matter if he's not trading correctly. So why build upon something that isn't there? He needs to work on his foundationals before he starts expanding on deeper concepts. But you actually got a kill there. That's crazy. Yeah, and then you kind of overstay here. It's a good flash. At this point, the fight's already disengaged. You see Akali rotating for mid. There's no reason why you should stay here. Neither should the Camille be here anymore. At the end of the day, League of Legends is about playing as consistently as possible to make sure you always have an impact. But at this point, it's not the best for you guys because you're failing on the other side of the map as well. So not only did you guys lose a 3 versus 2, but you also lost a 2 versus 3. Partially this is because you missed your fear on the lead-in, and then it's partially because you just didn't know when to disengage. But you can run back to lane here. This is a unique situation where if you feel like you're pretty far behind, you can buy a Null Mantle because it's triple AP topside. Sure, Poppy's like 50% AD damage, but... Actually, she's like 80% physical damage, but Echo and Akali do a ton of AP damage. So if you really needed it, you could buy Null Mantle because she led with first set of magic penetration, so you'd cancel this out. But instead, you're opting to go Everfrost, and I don't mind this purchase because Everfrost gives you survivability, which means you'll play more consistently. It also means you're doing a little bit less snowballing. And the reason why this is problematic is because the game should have already been over off the 2k lead that you had. But now we're playing for consistency because we're behind. I play consistently, but it's bad. But if you play consistently, it's easier to grow on that because you already have like a consistent field to play with. If you're constantly going 0-10 or 10-0, you don't really know what areas... Well, you do know what areas need improvement, but it's easier to develop one thing than try to fix 19 issues at the same time. At this point, my guy, you're just hardcore shoving lane. You should be looking for roams for the rest of the game. You will never be able to kill the Akali here because she has her ultimate E and her W. You can play aggressively on the waves whenever she's low energy like this, or she uses skills to commit to farming wave. But you really should be playing through your jungle, playing through your side lanes. Like, you have the ability to instantly win side lanes, but you haven't roamed a single time this game. It's not wrong to play through your own lane when you're massively ahead, which he was. It's just that he didn't play correctly. Because even though he has the advantage, he wasn't creating situations that allowed him to succeed. So this is a pretty good gank setup, and you did a bunch of damage right there. And rotating down here is perfect. You have two options here, which is you either push mid for plates or you rotate bottom. Unfortunately, you don't have ultimate anymore, so this is a little bit harder to do. And you walked over vision, they still died to this. So this is just typical bot lanes being bot lanes. Unfortunately, they do walk out. So you don't really accomplish anything, so this is a pretty good example of opportunity cost. So opportunity cost is what you're losing in exchange for a play. So if you go mid here, you grab one more wave, you grab maybe a plate, that's guaranteed like 240 gold. Whereas running down bot side, at max you're getting 600 G from killing their bot lane. And you get the wave bottom, and it's a bunch of team gold. So this play overall has a higher chance of being min-max, right? You get more out of this at the high end, but on the low end, you're not really getting anything done, and you're falling behind in experience and gold for yourself because this play doesn't execute properly. Now, this ends up basically being they get a shutdown on you guys. You wasted your time because you're not getting any resources. You didn't get a wave, you didn't get any plates, and you have enough gold to buy your Everfrost right now. So it kind of just feels like a waste, all things considered. And now you're even going even further beyond here. Brand dies, execution. We're still losing out on minions mid lane. Do get some plates from the Rift Child though. Yeah, that's a great flash W from Echo. I thought Poppy was jungler, by the way. That's okay. At the end of the day, like, you knew that this roam was going to be kind of hard to pull off, especially because you probably didn't know that you're walking over vision. But if we go all the way back here, you just committed an entire minute to this bot side play. I think it's fine here to rotate down, but I think pretty much it's already done by this point. To be fair, actually, I think the only reason why this doesn't work for you guys is because the Nami lands a great ultimate. Like, them being here in the first place is just so sketch to me when you walked over vision. But really poorly executed on the re-engage from you guys. Because at this point, there's really no way that all four of you should have been hit by this Nami ultimate. She just disengages all of you without even trying. Should have gone Sweeper. Sweeper's really good if you're playing for side lane roams before level 9. Sweeper's always good. I usually prefer to hold on to Warding Totem because I play really aggressively in lane. I need the extra vision. And usually just buying pinks is enough to clear enough vision to be able to do those in the first place. But Farsight is usually taken just to combat the neutral objectives. Can you show best mid-game mid-wards? Well, if you're playing mid-game, you're literally not even mid, so... If you're playing mid in the mid-game, you're usually in a side lane, you push wave and then you hover towards mid lane. If you want to ward around mid lane, you're usually going to be warding jungle entrances, or you're going to be warding high traffic areas where people walk often. But it just depends on like what objective you're trying to control. Because if you're playing for Dragon and you're placing wards around Rift Herald when Rift's already dead, this vision is dead and means nothing. So you want to think about the utility of your ward, what is the purpose, the timing of it, What are you trying to achieve by placing this ward? If I'm putting a pink here, this controls 2 areas of entry. And this gives me more control over an area and denies their vision. Whereas if I'm just placing a bunch of random wards right here, and we're playing for top side, does it do anything? Kind of nothing. But yeah, this is kind of an overcommit. You guys should just backed out after the play failed. There's no reason to keep going, so you end up passing over like 4 kills and also dragon. So even though we have a major gold advantage this game, you guys just keep giving them ways to get back in the game because you're overcommitting, over chasing. If you keep giving them ways to get gold back onto their carries, then of course this game will take longer to execute. It doesn't matter if your team made mistakes here, Rides. We've already acknowledged for the first 14 minutes that you could have played completely different and achieved a lot more results. It's understandable that if your teammates make mistakes, but there's so much more that you could have done to give your better chance at winning. Or at least stop the enemy team having a chance of getting back into the game. So it's equally your fault as your teammates. There was lots of things you could have done. Sure, there's things that your teammates could have done, but you're the only person here who can control your actions. So the only person we want to focus on here is probably you. But here, this is good. You're applying pressure. You last saw Akali top on vision. So you're able to take as much of this tower as you want to. You should be thinking to yourself on the map, who's currently not visible? The only person not showing on the map is the Echo. So as long as you're positioning in a way where you're not getting W'd from a random over-the-wall jump, you'll be fine. But you're already level 11, like you have your core items, so you're actually really, really strong. If you have Ignite, you pretty much can kill anybody that's below 1.4k HP. Obviously, you can't kill Echo because he's got a heal. You can one-shot Nami, you can one-shot Ezreal, you can't one-shot the Poppy, you can't one-shot the Akali. So based off that alone, you kind of should be hovering towards bot side plays because that's the only area where you can actually snowball. Your Graves does do a significant amount of damage, so you can play for 2v2 skirmishes. But realistically, all you guys should be doing is taking a look at the objective timers. There's nothing to do on the map for the next 3 minutes, so you're basically just laning. But because you guys are ahead, you should be trying to force plays around your vision, so you either move your vision deeper or get rotation wards, and just try to punish these people with roams. Because you don't really have anything else to do for the next 3 minutes until those objectives spawn. Wow, I'm surprised that Everfrost did not CC her. Yeah. But you're still in a pretty good spot. I just think it's crazy. Like, you have a Tristana Brand and you were afraid to roam bottom versus an Ezreal Nami as a Vex. I think that's the biggest red flag that we can establish from this game. But really nice kill up here. Rift doesn't spawn forever, so... pretty much all you should be doing right now is clearing waves and then looking for ways to roam towards other side lanes. It wouldn't have made a difference if he landed the Everfrost or not. I'm just saying that's weird that it didn't land. But just remember that this Akali killed herself twice in lane and she's equal almost in CS and with levels to you. So what was the cost of us perma pushing and achieving nothing with it? And our numerous overstays that ended up just giving her free access to those kills. Right now, you pretty much only have enough for Hextech Alternator, so I don't mind if you stay in lane. Also, doesn't really matter if you recall right now, but you are giving her a free roam timer. Because getting this Hextech Alternator does not change anything at all. Like, you're not going to accomplish anything for the next 3 minutes anyways. So, putting pressure on mid tower probably would have been your best bet. Pretty nice execution on this top of Void, but... the only reason why she doesn't lose anything for leaving here is because you initiated a recall for pretty much 400 gold worth of items. Now, this was literally, this was your best chance. This straight would have been a double kill if you landed this. So this was pretty much... this was great. This was well executed. You placed it pink. You knew exactly what you're going to do. Let's go and see why this failed. So they never had vision of you. You checked to make sure that there was nobody there. This is just really unlucky. Actually, this is low-key just extremely unlucky. If you had landed on either one, just straight up a double kill right there. But the moment you miss, there's no reason to be mid anymore because you're sapping experience. So you should just be going down bottom and farming down there. Because at the end of the day, these skirmishes don't matter anymore because you don't have ultimate. If you don't have ultimate, then why are you here? Like, why split XP here when you have an entire wave that you can farm and you know where Akali is on the map already? It's fine for you to be mid if you want to force plays if you have ultimate, but if you are waiting on your ult cooldown, you should just be pushing waves. Because there's no way you're actually going to get a skirmisher without your ultimate as an engage tool into a team that has more vision than you. Because right now, you take it at the vision, there's literally no wards from your brand. Your brand's dead right now. You basically side lane if you can't execute a play. Yes. But there is context to it, like Zalki's saying. Like, if there's an objective that your team wants to have contest over, like Baron, Rift Herald, or Dragon, then you kind of have to be there, because if their team engages on yours, and it's a numerical advantage for them, your team kind of loses. But if both teams have nothing to do on the map, and you are sacking resources for nothing in another lane, then you're basically just cucking yourself. Like, right now, there's no Dragon, there's no Rift Herald. They have winning side lanes because they have Camille. So it's easier for blue team here to play through top lane or play through bot lane and then play around your ultimate whenever it's on, when it's available. Because if he sits here mid and saps XP and they lose 6 waves bottom, he's not going to do anything for the entire time that his ult's on cooldown anyways. What if we like to be cucked? Well, pretty good that you're playing League of Legends then. But this is to be expected. You're playing weak side. You know for a fact that Camille and your Graves are top side. So you should be holding this wave as long as possible. So all you need to do here was just hold the wave here. There's really no reason to push. You don't need priority. Dragon doesn't spawn for 2 minutes. Rift Herald doesn't spawn for a minute. What exactly is the reason for pushing this wave when you don't have vision of where the enemy jungler is and you're in the sideline? Because you can't hover mid yet, you don't have ultimate, so it doesn't matter if you immediately leave right now. It's a fine use of your blue. You don't have a pink ward or anything, but... where exactly could the enemy be if you just made a play on the other side of the map? You played it pretty well up until that, though. You had a really nice Everfrost. It's just they have a shit ton of heals. But now you're dead, and your team isn't able to contest the dragon because you are not there. So, because you're dead, your team can't ever take control of this objective because they're waiting on you. So how does your team retake vision without you and without Brand? So, like, how is your team ever supposed to play for dragons when you're up in gold? When the two most... okay, not the most important, but 2 of the valuable members of your team are currently in base dead. So you die for no reason. You already got something on the other side of the map. All you had to do was be patient. Grand scheme of things, this is second dragon. You can concede this entirely if you don't want it. But the moment you die here, you are conceding things for free because you made the conscious decision to die there. Because you don't ever have to leave the safety of your tower here if you don't want to. He died to lack of vision. I mean, sure, there's 700 wards around mid. But if his team successfully gets a kill topside, and they're sieging mid, then you kind of have to insinuate that the jungler is in this area. Because why would it not be a 2v2 top? You can make educated guesses, like you have enough information. You see one person's dead, you see 2 people mid. You know that Akali's bottom, that's 3 people showing on the map. The only person unaccounted for is the Echo. If the Echo wasn't top lane, then the Echo has to be on the bottom side of the map. The game is 100% winnable. You have really good side lane. You have really good teamfight potential. Their champs are a little cringe, all things considered, but the next thing that you guys can technically fight for is mid turret or Baron in 20 seconds. So you have ultimate, you're hovering mid lane so that you can force a team fight. You guys have 2 really great engage tools, which is Camille and Vexar. So we should be looking to take advantage of those tools. We get Nami Flash, that's really good. But at this point, if we're going to be mid, it has to be for the purpose of taking this tower, forcing a team fight, or forcing a Baron fight. So if you guys 5-man mid here, and you literally just walk in circles doing nothing, then there's no point in going mid lane to begin with. So the moment you guys get here, you get mid prio, you either do this to take control of the Baron, or you do this to siege the tower itself. But right now, we have 5 people committed to this. They're pushing bottom, they're pushing top. What exactly are we trying to accomplish here? We drop the Rift Herald. This tower dies no matter what. At this point, you guys are losing top, you're losing bottom. This is technically a 4v5 right now, so if you go in, this is probably your best chance at a favorable fight. But they don't have to fight you here because they already have winning sides. But you guys take an engage here. But as you can see, there's really nothing more for you to get here. It's not feasible for you guys to do Baron. So instead of getting anything meaningful, you're trading tower for tower. We're trading a tower in exchange for massive amounts of CS top and bottom. But there's no way for you guys to start Baron. Like, theoretically, the best you can do here is you clear vision of Baron after you get mid prio. And then when they face check to retake, you force engage with the Camille R and the Vexar. This is your best play with this current map state. But you're losing literally 3 to 4 waves on the side lanes right now for you guys to all rotate in the mid lane. I don't disagree with the decision to force group, because in elos like this, force grouping will pretty much always work. But if the enemy team is being thoughtful, then you basically just get nothing for doing this. But yeah, Camille covers bottom. You guys gotta cover top again, push out waves. It's easier pretty much for your team comp to just focus on clearing these waves, and then the best bet would be playing for this next dragon. You can still put wards around mid lane, and if they make a mistake rotating, you can catch them out with Camille R or with Vex. You guys win 2v2 side lanes, so if they try to match you guys when you split push, you can win through that as well. You just have to consciously make you just have to pick one and go with it. Just pick one and stick with it. I think playing around the Camille is probably what I would do if I was the jungler in this scenario. But right now, they retake Baron control. You guys pushed mid and got basically nothing off of it, and now they get a pick while Brand's going for vision. So this is fucked because your Camille gets solo kill, your Brand gets solo killed, so the game is basically over here in my opinion. You have to face check this objective. Poppy has TP if she wanted to recall here, she just chooses not to. But a really great zoning tool. This is a plus, so this is a check mark. So if you're going to lose something on the other side of the map, you want to make a play elsewhere. Because if they're committing 4 players to this Baron pit, and they're committing 1 player down here, then you can create a numerical advantage whenever you want. So this is called overloading. Overloading is when you take advantage of a numbers advantage and just force plays where you're strong. Because if they're going to commit this many people, you have to exchange something, otherwise you're just losing this for free. So you trade Poppy in exchange for Baron. Obviously, it's not the best trade, but I think we've seen enough. I think realistically, this game is just you did not play your lane phase properly. I think you still have avenues to play this game out, but I think with the Baron here, you guys are just getting really out macroed. It's still winnable. I don't know if I want to commit another 10 minutes to this game, though. Another 12 minutes, another 13 minutes at that. Because I think the biggest issue here is really just the laning phase and how you transitioned it. There's stuff to be learned from this mid-late macro, but if you're not properly playing your lane phase, you won't get to this stage of the game every single time. So hypothetically, he had so much more lead, what would he do to win this game? Just a reminder, this guy started 2-0 in lane, had 1300 gold advantage, did not roam a single time, did not solo kill a single time after this, did not invade, did not rotate, did not secure objective. So, there was plenty. If he played the lane properly, if he transitions his gold lead from mid to jungle, top, or ADC, then every single player on his team is winning, and they should win every single objective. They're still going to occasionally ent or randomly die, but it's significantly easier to win the game when you are winning all 3 lanes versus just winning 1.5. Game state would be massively different, I agree, but if he's playing correctly, then there's just really so much more gold lead that they would have. They're still going to randomly toss shutdowns, that's always going to happen. But if this bot lane is 0-4, that is completely different than having a 0-0 bot lane versus a 0-0 bot. You could have even tried the Zianni and slow push and would have been better. Yes, because if he slow pushes the wave, then he can build up 15 to 20 CS or whatever, and then he can use that as a timer to go into another lane. That does mean that Akali's still going to get most of that wave, but for the period of time in which the wave is over here, she should not be able to ever walk up to the wave. That is League of Legends in a nutshell. Is if you are not proactively creating advantages for yourself, then you are playing the game on autopilot. You are in complete control of what you want to do. If you are not setting plays up for yourself, then you are not paying attention. We established that we have winning side lanes. We established we have winning matchups in pretty much all of these. Maybe not the Poppy because of, or the Camille lane because of Poppy W. But these lanes didn't get advantages. We could have easily helped them get advantages. Sure, they should have won 2v2 by themselves, but we're still the one who's capable of just getting 2 kills on ourselves, or 2 kills on our Tristana, or 2 kills on our Poppy, Camille, whatever. Literally anything else I could have done would be better. Partially. You still played well, like you took advantage of the no flash cooldown, you had a really good lead start, and you were getting constant prio. The issue is that you were getting prio, but you weren't thinking about how to use it. What is the point of constantly pushing your lane if it is not being done for anything? Because like we've talked about, this gives you the ability to move anywhere you want on the map at the cost of Akali catching waves for free. If we equalize the lane right here, Akali can't ever farm, she can't roam because she's behind and she has no items. This means you also can't move because you're stuck, but your lane is supposed to be flexible depending on what your teammates are doing on the map and where the lanes are on the map. If the enemy bot lane's pushing your tower, you should always be rotating that. If enemy tower's under their tower, you could always dive that. But this wave manipulation didn't serve a purpose, and you just weren't trading properly. Thanks for watching. If you like the content, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps out a lot. Thank you.